No, but you know, I'm disappointed. Dini. Imagine if this was Rasa, another billion. With this kind of lost a lot of money. My brother, now I'm simple. When I come out, I'll tell you in the source. Because now you come to me and say to me that someone is saying that I always ask you, who's that source? Then you say, you can't give me the name. I tell you that that is you. Simple. Simple. This thing goes into more investing. It's too much. Very, very good. Prof. Dr. Spuka, we need to start. Chairperson. Tsepo? Colleagues, can we be seated to start with the formalities of our program today? The University Registrar, Professor Mtata, the Dean of Students, Dr. Spuka, Chair of IEC, Dr. Benilu Kubu and his collective, Chair of the IET in absentia, the Independent Electoral Tribunal, Advocate Mantula and the collective present here, Regional Directors, Strategic Partners, ASA, BDO, outgoing National SRC led by Amukelane Ngwenya present here, outgoing Speaker of the National Student Parliament, RSPs, student leaders and political formations in their different forms, ecumenical of student formations, academic structures, clubs, societies, as well as all departments that are present or are viewing this proceeding of this today. Students of the University of South Africa across the breadth and the length of the continent and beyond, good morning. My name is Tsofatso Mokhaladi. I'm going to be steering the presentation of the 2021 SRC elections at the University of South Africa. We're having quite a very short program, which I'll attempt the student to short circuit and make sure that we conclude this particular program as soon as possible, as per the directive. In terms of our program, colleagues, we are here to deliver the SRC elections that had started on the 18th on the 11th and ended on the 18th of this month. As the project owner, on behalf of the Dean of Students, we are quite excited to be receiving these results today. And Dr. Spuka, with your portfolio, have put massive amount of work to ensure that we arrive at this very memorable milestone in the history of the student movement to have run these successful elections amid the COVID pandemic. Therefore, without any further ado, colleagues, I'll call upon Dr. Spuka as the project owner to come through to do the opening and welcome, so that we then proceed to the other few items that are here before we receive the official announcement from the IEC. Dr. Spuka.
Thanks, Dr. Mahaladi. The University Registrar, Prof. Mutata, the chairperson of the IEC, Dr. Lukubu, and his great collective, members of the IET, staff members in our midst, from you, Dr. Mahaladi, in the department, I see Mr. Nato, the outgoing Secretary General of the NSRC, and Unisans in general, good morning. Dr. Mahaladi has already given a background of why we're here, namely to announce the NSRC results of the year 2020. And we're saying 2020 because the elections were done on the basis of our students in 2020, because the election had to be postponed, I think, 2 or 3 times given the COVID pandemic. And that helped us also to find new ways of doing things, namely improve on our electronic voting system, improve our campaigning systems, and also improve how we are making this announcement today. And I think the entire world has learned quite a few lessons through this pandemic. And so we as a university today are ushering in a new SRC, which will also have to learn new ways of doing things. I know, for instance, that as they are going to be getting into office, there will be quite a lot of challenges that will accost them and the student population. And my one message to those that will ultimately get into the SRC is that they need to serve the student before anything and anyone else. With those few words, colleagues, welcome to this ceremony, and thank you very much to the IEC for delivering a credible election, and thank you very much to the IET for listening to some of the things that were raised by the student population with regards to how the process is going. And we can safely say that the process has got integrity and could go through the eye of the needle. With those few words, colleagues, welcome once more, and thank you very much for the work we've done. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dean of Students, for the wonderful words of welcome, and I believe that all of us thank you so much, Dean, for the wonderful words of welcome. I've been requested to lower my mask so that the voice could become so much clearer. And thank you so much for welcoming all of us across the breadth and length of the continent and beyond. I think that this is quite a very huge milestone as you have stepped, and the control measures that your department has put in achieving these elections. Colleagues, without any waste of time, we'll call the SG of the outgoing SRC, Mr. Mkelani Ngwenya, who is going to just be delivering some remarks on behalf of the SRC, whose term of office has lapsed, which is going to be replaced by the SRC that is going to be constituted at the backdrop of these election results that are going to be announced here today. Mr. Ngwenya.
Good morning, comrades and friends, our students who are watching while they're home, and thanks again, Mr. Mahaladi, the program director. Greetings, of course, to our registrar, Prof. Mutata, the dean of students, Dr. Spuka, and our vice chancellor, who is not present today here, but we extend our greetings to her. And we are here as the outgoing national SRC, of course, to give a message of support in a very difficult platform, where we are yet to see the announcement of results. But before I give my message of support, I think our democracy in South Africa is in danger. When you look at the many young people in our country, they are not entirely involved in democratic processes of our country. They are no longer interested in voting. The middle class of our country, of course, that was produced by the African National Congress. It's also no longer interested in participating in voting. And we would have seen that many people, for them to be involved in such, they must be given food parcels, they must be given T-shirts, they must be given all those sort of things for them to participate in election processes. I've been in many institutions in the country following their turnout vote. It was not really impressive at all. The question in which we need to respond as the University of South Africa is such that we have 400,000 students. The question in which we must ask ourselves is whether these results will be the true reflection of the aspiration of our people, true reflection of the aspiration of our students and our democracy at large. But as the National SRC, we are here to confirm, Dean of Deans, that these elections, they are a true voice and a true will of our students. And as such, we accept these results, this democratic process that has unfolded in our university. But I think the university must do good. I mean, a university that carries the name of my country must do better when it comes to these processes, because we have many students and the turnout vote must be very impressive. In the University of Dar es Salaam, when there's SRC elections, if the total population of students is 50,000, 49,000 students are going to vote. In the University of Zimbabwe as well. If the total population is 30,000, 29,000 students are going to vote. But that is not the case in our country. Not only in institutions of higher learning, but generally in our country, there's that apathy in our people. So I'm here today to request and employ our university, which is the biggest in the Southern Hemisphere, consequently in Africa, to take a lead on these democratic processes, to make sure that people participate in democratic processes. I thank you very much for this opportunity as an outgoing SRC. We have led well. We have worked well with our students. We have not worked well with management. We are not in good books of management. There are scars which we have created in this university to people who didn't work. There are many people who are fired in the university today because of our work. It's because they were not doing their work. There's many things that we have not done good. We have not done good to people because we're not here to impress all of you. We're here to impress our students, and we believe that we have impressed our students. I thank you very much, and all the best to all our students for the academic year 2021. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, SG, for the wonderful remarks and asserting the voice of students in this university. And further to confirm that the SRC is the only unified voice of students across their diversity. The convergence is at the SRC that is duly elected, and that signifies that voice or that united voice of the students. And thank you so much for emphatically putting it across to say that the turnout in the elections generally in the country, and also picturing it at the level of the university. But what is wonderful, Dr. Spuka, in the department, there's wonderful work that has been done, aided by Professor Mutata, having helped us very much in finalizing the research that we subsequently presented to USG, that articulately and purposely looked into the voter participation of students in the previous SRC elections, the 2018. I think that offers a very wonderful baseline, Prof, to can continue with that kind of a study following this particular kind of elections that will lead to the contribution in form of research in accredited journals of student affairs. So there's already the baseline, SG, that as we build this momentum of bringing on our students to participate more in these elections, we also foreground that on a basis of a researched background that help us to understand the reasons of this particular lowdown on the low turnout on the elections. But thank you so much for your message. It is accepted, and I think that all of us have been awakened to the reality. Without waste of time, colleagues, we now proceed to call our boss, the portfolio manager, under whom the student affairs reports, as a portfolio head who has worked tirelessly to ensure that this particular project of elections kicks off and ultimately arrives to fruition. And without his support, we couldn't have been here where we are. And we really thank you, Professor Mutata, for the support that you have been giving us, that we in turn had to give to the IEC, which was on the forefront of this particular difficult project. We now request you, sir, to come through to just echo the message of congratulations before these election results are presented.
Thanks, Program Director. Dr. Likubu, the union team. The Dean of Deans. I don't know why they call you Dean of Deans, Dr. Spuka. I heard the phrase from the SG several times. The Dean of Deans, Dr. Spuka, Acting Deputy Director, Mr. Mkhaladi, all IEC members led by Dr. Likubu, members of the tribunal, the Secretary General of the National SRC, Mr. Amukelani Ngwenya, all members of the outgoing SRC, those who are in this house and wherever you are, representatives of all structures and formations who are here this morning. Good morning. I'm not going to keep you long because I'm sure you're all eager to get your election results today after such a gruesome and challenging campaign. But first, let me thank all those who participated in these elections, those who campaigned on behalf of structures and formations, traveling from one region to the next, despite the pandemic we are in now. And I also want to convey the university's condolences for those who have lost their friends, their relatives, due to the pandemic, and I'm sure all of us are affected by this. Let me also thank those students. I was informed about 50,000 or more students, Program Director, who took time to cast their votes. We really, really want to thank them for doing that. We hope that the number of students who participate in the voting process will double in the next elections. And I think the Secretary General covered it very well. And I think it's our responsibility, Dr. Spuka, to work very hard to encourage students to take part in such an important democratic process, so that they shouldn't be encouraged when we are in the middle of elections, but we should start that campaign as soon as possible. Again, let me also thank members of the IEC for a job well done. I think Dr. Lukube and I, we've known each other for many, many years, Doc. And thank you very much. I really was confident when I saw your name that everything will go well. But thank you very much for yourself and the team. And also members of the tribunal who assisted us in the elections. It's a really, really job well done. To the Dean of Students, the project leader, I've seen Mr. Mguni there. I think last year when we asked you to be a project leader, you did not hesitate to take this task. And I really, really want to thank you for leading this project under the Dean of Students and, of course, the acting Deputy Director, Mr. Makhalani. I also want to thank our colleagues from ICT. I think if it wasn't those colleagues from ICT, we wouldn't be here today. And I really, really want to thank the Vice Principal, Ms. Poppy Chabalala, for assisting us and her team in ensuring that we deliver these elections. And on behalf of the university, again, we really want to thank you. There's a phrase that goes, you pulled it off. And let me say, we pulled it off. I know there were many obstacles along the way. There were many challenges along the way. But we all made it. And again, let me congratulate all those structures that will be deploying representatives in the SRCs. We are looking forward to working and engaging with you on matters affecting the students. Like the SG indicated here that the SRC is not in the management good books. Maybe SG, we are glad that you are leaving. But I think we had Robert's engagement, SG, and thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. And for those who are not able to win seats and deploy representatives in these elections, this is not the end. What you need to do is to regroup, is to strategize, and I think 2 years from now, do it again and participate and campaign hard, and you will be rewarded as well. And I also wish to thank the outgoing SRC members, wherever you are. I'm very sure that some of them are watching these proceedings, wherever you are. Your Secretary General is here with us this morning. I really, really want to thank you for your robust engagement. We met, so many times with you, and you really advanced the interest of the students, and I really, really want to thank you. Thank you very much, program directors and program director, and thank you, colleagues and students. Well done. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, University Registrar Professor Mtata, for those kind words and for acknowledging a number of colleagues who have been assisting us in this project, particularly singling out Mr. Mguni for driving this process on our behalf as the project owner. Thank you so much, Prof, once more. I cannot overemphasize the significance of the contribution that you have made on behalf of executive management and your commitment in making sure that on an ongoing basis this project gets to be expedited. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, students, without any further waste of time, we'll then call upon Dr. Benny Lukubu, the chairperson of the IEC, to come and present the results of the SRC elections.
Colleagues, good morning. Program Director, thank you very much. Mr. Mokhaladi, the Principal and Vice Chancellor of the University of South Africa in absentia, Professor Lengabule, the Registrar, Professor Motata, the Dean of Deans, Dr. Oloetu Sipuka, the Deputy Chairperson of the IEC, Ms. Mudiekhe Ntswane, the outgoing Secretary of the National SRC, Mr. Ngwenya, student leaders, and university students that are watching this broadcast live, Unisa staff members that are also watching this broadcast live, members of the IET, members of ISA, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. Allow me first to welcome you all. A special welcome again to the Vice Principal, Professor Lengabule, who has just joined this university at the right point in time when we are delivering the SRC elections. It gives me great pleasure this morning to be standing before you as the IEC will be announcing the SRC, the 2020 SRC elections. At the foremost, Program Director, I must inform you that this has not been a very easy task amid the current pandemic. However, the IEC has ensured that all measures are in place to deliver a credible, free and fair election. Every normal thing that we had to do had to be done abnormally. And this is where we find ourselves this morning. It is correct, Program Director, Deputy the Dean, that this pandemic has had its negative effects in the way we interacted with each other, and we have managed to overcome many challenges. To the incoming SRC, I hope that you will have an opportunity to familiarize yourself with the Unisa Charter of Transformation. In particular, I would want you to observe the 11 C's plus 1, which articulate which kind of culture this University of South Africa seeks to embed and practice at all times. My wish for you this year is that we work together for the good of the students and the health and well-being of this mega university. Madam Vice-Chancellor in absentia, please allow me then to go straight into the business of the day. Dean, Professor Motata. I must at the very beginning as well inform you that this gathering, that the SRC elections have been verified and certified to be true and correct by our external auditors. The e-voting system sheet consists of the following: the national and regional votes captured, abstentions, the percentage of students or voters that had logged in but did not complete their voting, the daily e-voting stats, the results for the national ballot and allocation of seats, the results for the regional ballot and allocation of seats. It is in this case, ladies and gentlemen, that I will start right at the beginning to let you know that the voters' roll, the 2020 voters' roll, had captured 390,225 voters. The votes that were captured online 37,034, and then votes that were captured on the USSD, 19,164. Total logged but did not complete the voting, the total 5,547. Abstentions 465. The crossover between Johannesburg and Tshwane, 1,821. I will now go into the stats that reflects what we have been capturing on a daily basis. When the voting started on the 11th of February, on the online votes that were captured, 13,660, 7,741 for USSD. The total is 21,401. You will notice that from the 12th of February, the numbers went down a little bit to 6,092. Further went down to 2,320. Further went down to 1,271. And a slight upward movement of 1,831. On the 16th of February, when we sent out a reminder SMS, the numbers spiked up to 10,150. And immediately the day thereafter, on the 17th, the numbers went down again to 3,056. On the 18th, on the last day of the voting, we also sent out another SMS reminder. The numbers spiked up again to 10,077. Now I'm going to move on to the stats per region. The Eastern Cape, on the voters' roll, had 18,236. The total votes received for Eastern Cape, 2,786. Johannesburg, on the voters' roll, had 102,349, and only 10,525 votes were received. KwaZulu-Natal, 91,088, only 20,636 votes were received. Limpopo, 36,943, and 6,311 votes were received. In the Midlands, 35,134 and 4,138 votes were received. Mpumalanga, 27,696 and only 4,155 votes were received. Tshwane, 52,405 on the voters' roll and only 6,148 votes were received. In the Western Cape, 26,474, but only 1,499 votes were received. The crossover between Johannesburg and Tshwane, as I indicated earlier, was 1,821, which gives us a total of 56,198 voters that participated. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me then to get into the stats and the seats allocation for national. The African National Congress Youth League with a total votes of 8,936, 1 seat. Democratic Alliance Students Organization with 1,964 votes, no seats. Economic Freedom Fighters Student Command, 22,007 votes, 4 seats. South African Students Congress, 17,190 votes, 3 seats. Unisa Law Students, 5,636 votes, 1 seat. And there were 465 abstentions. The 9 seats have been allocated accordingly. Colleagues, allow me now to move to the regional stats. In the Eastern Cape, the Association for Advanced Black Accountants of South Africa, 127 votes, no seat. In the Eastern Cape still, Economic Freedom Fighters, Student Command, 1,023 votes, 4 seats. In the Eastern Cape, South African Students Congress, 1,323 votes, 5 seats. Young Communist League of South Africa, 159 votes, no seat. In Johannesburg, African National Congress Youth League, 1,184 votes, 1 seat. Black Lawyers Association Student Chapter, 171 votes, no seat. Democratic Alliance Students Organization, 394 votes, 1 seat. Economic Freedom Fighters Student Command, 3,554 votes, 4 seats. Science, Engineering and Technology Student Association, 329 votes, no seat. South African Students Congress, 1,566 votes with 2 seats. Unisa Law Students Association, 1,105 votes with only 1 seat. In KwaZulu-Natal, the African National Congress Youth League with 3,385 votes, 2 seats. Democratic Alliance Students Organization, 243 votes, no seat. Economic Freedom Fighters Students Command, 7,060 votes, 3 seats. South African Democratic Students Movement, 373 votes, no seat. South African Students Congress, 7,806 votes, 4 seats. Unisa Law Students Association, 667 votes, no seat. In Limpopo, African National Congress Youth League, 1,011 votes, 2 seats. Economic Freedom Fighters Students Command, 2,571 votes, 4 seats. South African Student Congress, 1,464 votes, 2 seats. Unisa Law Students Association, 844 votes, 1 seat. And then I will move to the Midlands. African National Congress Youth League, 459 votes, 1 seat. Democratic Alliance Students Organization, 202 votes, no seat. Economic Freedom Fighters Student Command, 1,462 votes, 4 seats. South African Students Congress, 1,149 votes, 3 seats. Unisa Law Students Association, 623 votes, 1 seat. Colleagues, let me move to Mpumalanga. Democratic Alliance Students Organization with 159 votes, no seat. Economic Freedom Fighters Students Command, 1,773 votes, 4 seats. South African Student Congress, 1,477 votes with 4 seats. Unisa Law Students Association with 482 votes, 1 seat. I will move to Tswane. African National Congress Youth League with 1,142 votes, 1 seat. College of Education Students Association with 135 votes, no seat. Democratic Alliance Students Organization, 403 votes, no seat. Economic Freedom Fighters Student Command with 3,467 votes, 4 seats. South African Students Congress with 1,451 votes, 2 seats. The Students Christian Organization with 230 votes, no seat. Unisa Law Students Association with 1,277 votes, 2 seats. Last but not least, I will move to the Western Cape. Democratic Alliance Student Organization with 268 votes, 2 seats. The Economic Freedom Fighters Student Command with 412 votes, 2 seats. South African Student Congress, 443 votes, 3 seats. Unisa Law Students Association with 310 votes, 2 seats. The total abstentions, 2,515. The total votes that were received, 56,198. Program Director, thank you so much. I will perhaps, through you, request the Deputy Chair just to come and explain to everyone in terms of what we did in terms of the division of the seats in the quota system. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, colleagues. Colleagues, mine is brief. It's just to explain how we allocated the seats. So, colleagues, we are guided by the electoral policy, which prescribes the use of proportional representation. So, in the spirit of staying as close as possible to the prescribed proportional representation using the Drup quota formula, we were able to allocate seats as per the explanation and the presentation that you see on the screen. The proportional representation is used to award seats. So now we use the Drup quota formula to calculate the quota and therefore allocate the correct number of seats as per the vote that a particular structure received. In cases where we had a tie in allocating the seats, whereby you'd find that there's one seat remaining and then there's a tie between two structures with the highest vote remainders. In that instance, colleagues, we used the Drup quota, the same Drup quota formula that is prescribed by the policy, but inclusive of decimals, because numbers cannot lie. And in such a case, colleagues, we were able to allocate that seat to the structure with the highest remainder of votes, inclusive of decimals. So the number would change a little bit when we include decimals, because when it's without decimals, it would be a round figure, and therefore it would be a tie because there won't be any decimals. But when you include decimals, then you can see a difference, and therefore the structure with the highest remainder of votes was the one that was allocated the remaining seat. Thank you.
Dr. Kubu and members of the IEC, Prof. Motata, I think we now have received the results, which I think that it's now incumbent of all participants in these elections and the university to look at the results, Dr. Spuka, and digest them. And from here henceforth, the result, I assume they will be publicized in all platforms of students, including my Unisa, and all requisite platforms that are used by the university to communicate the information to the students. We thank you so much, IEC. We cannot overemphasize actually the number that you have pulled out of 56,000 and above. Almost compares very favorably with the 2008 SRC elections. So, which then tells you that we could have possibly achieved more, Prof, had things been different, and given that these elections were then conducted in the space of a week. So it tells you that this IEC has done quite very much wonderful, because the margin is quite very low. I was just doing some quick comparison with the 2008, the total number of turnout. But students, I think this is something that we need to take home now with the results having been proclaimed by the IEC, to digest them. And Prof. Motata, I believe that will present them to management as they are, and they will equally be conveyed to the students as they are received. We wish to thank you, IEC, from the department, and we've been working nicely together administratively, and we highly appreciate the work that you have done. Without any further waste of time, colleagues, student leaders, students across the breadth and length of Africa and beyond, will now call again the Deputy Chairperson of the IEC to come and deliver their vote of thanks, and that will be the end of this session.
Colleagues, good morning again. Let me start by recognizing our registrar, Professor Motata, the Dean of Deans, Dr. Sipuka, Student Development, Mr. Mokhaladi and his team, Mr. Mguni Mevero, thank you. The Chairperson of the IEC, Dr. Lukubu, and the IEC as a collective, members of the IET, in absentia, Professor Lenkabula, the Vice Chancellor, the student community and the voters watching at home. Colleagues, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity in difficult circumstances, having to do everything virtually. It was not easy, but here we are today. Thank you, colleagues, for the confidence, and again, the student for the confidence that they had in us working together. The outgoing SRC, thank you, colleagues. And for the student leaders, can we continue, as we continue with the journey from this day forward, we continue in the same spirit of positivity, of confidence in each other, harmony, and we carry forth this role. And we take examples from the outgoing SRCs, from the leadership that we have, and the management of the university. We work together. We make sure that we serve the student with integrity. We realize, you recognize as student leaders that this platform is for you to lead the students. You are here, you are representing the student, and do that with pride and with confidence. Colleagues, thank you. Can I emphasize again how thankful I am we worked together. The team, we were always available to work no matter what time of day. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for always being available. And the collegial work environment, can we continue with that? And we extend it beyond just the IEC or the SRC project. We extend it to the Unisa community at large. And as we go forward to inaugurate the students, can we take the same spirit of positivity, of enjoying the work environment and being professional and so forth. Thank you, colleagues.
I think the session is now adjourned, colleagues. Thank you so much.